Wow, I'm so thrilled to be able to introduce today the amazing Nyla Nguyen. She has, from the very beginning of the whole pandemic situation, Nyla has been out there at the forefront with her information and bringing awareness to the truth and to raising consciousness. She's the founder of the 3D to 5D consciousness on Telegram, and you can find it on all the alternative channels. I think your YouTube has long gone south, hasn't it, Nyla?
Well, yeah, I was the founder of that channel, but the cabal got threatened by my messages, so they pulled it for now.
Yes, yes.
It will return. I have no doubts about that.
Yes, yes. But you can find Nyla on all the other alternative channels. And, you know, you really have made a huge impact on the collective with your knowledge and your information. And you've been quite a warrior, very sort of resilient. And you've really forged on through from a very challenging time, actually, at the beginning, wasn't it, when you were meeting a lot of resistance? How was that with the resistance that you were getting from the information that you're putting out? Because you're one of the major people that initially as well was putting out the truth.
It was difficult in the beginning because I had a lot of inner child wounds and traumas that were not healed. So the resistance obviously triggered those traumas and those wounds, and it would cause me to become triggered. But since doing this type of work, it has allowed me to gain awareness of what these triggers were. And I also developed my own ways of healing all these triggers and trauma. So now they don't bother me anymore. I know how to handle it because these wounds are all healed, and it's not a problem for me to manage and deal with these type of people. But in the beginning, yeah, it was difficult because all these pain points were being triggered all over the place.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you're like, oh man, this is a lot. But hey, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Absolutely. Well, kudos to you for, you know, working through that and being able to be the voice that you have been. You know, you have done an awesome job. So I really want to acknowledge you for that. And
Thank you.
and I'm
I
thrilled.
also want to acknowledge you too for your tremendous work and effort. You've been a warrior to put out your content, doing your best to raise the consciousness and healing the people that you've been in contact with. Because I'm aware of your work as well too.
Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you, Nyla. That means a lot, especially from you. So today what we thought we'd do is chat about the divine masculine and the divine feminine, and why the whole gender issue has come to the consciousness of humanity at the moment, why there is so much of a push in confusing what is an obvious biological difference between a male and a female. And you know, what is the agenda behind all this? Why is it happening? And you know, how can we work toward resolving this? And you've done a lot of work, Nyla, on discussing the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So it is an area of your interest. Tell me what makes you drawn to this area of interest.
It's a very important part of ascension. This is the reason why the cabal is distorting these two energies, because these two energies are sacred and they are a part of your divine blueprints. When you ascend, you have to balance these two forces within you. This is what's going to propel your ascension. When one of these energies are out of balance, is toxic, is unhealed, the person is traumatized, and they're not going to be their full potential. So the cabal knows this kind of information, and this is why they use this type of spiritual knowledge and attack the younger souls. So because many people on this planet are still evolving, they're not really in that evolved state of being emotionally mature or spiritually mature. They don't have awareness of the differences in these energies, the divine masculine and the divine feminine template, and they've never been taught this. So due to the lack of knowledge of this type of information, cabal now can come in with their mass media, distort the information, inverse the role. So they made the feminine energy become very masculine, and then they made the masculine energy become very feminine. And they also put a lot of chemicals in the food, the water, the air to also change these two energies. So atrazine is one of those chemicals they put in the water to feminize the men. For the women, there are tons of estrogen in a lot of the water bottles, receipts, things you're touching every single day. They're full of estrogen. So when you have a lot of estrogen in these products and you're consuming it, it puts your hormones out of balance. So that means when your hormones are out of balance, you're also offset in these two energies, divine masculine, feminine. It also makes you retain water, you become more feminized, you bruise easier. So women who have a lot of hormones that are out of balance, particularly estrogen, you bruise very easily. So they think this is a disease. No, it's just because your hormones are out of balance. You know, your hormones are out of balance. Your nutrients, your diet is probably depleted of potassium and a lot of other minerals. So people end up swelling up, gaining a lot of water weight, and they think it's a weight issue, but it's more likely a water retention issue due to the lack of nutrients in their food. The combination of too much estrogen and other hormones is out of balance. So therefore we have a recipe for disaster. So the cabal used all this information, messed everything up on a physiological level, on a spiritual level, emotionally, and also mental level. This is why humans are mentally ill as they are, is because they're being attacked on a multidimensional level.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in order for people to obviously combat this type of psychological warfare being done on them, they have to become very awakened, spiritually aware, empower themselves with this type of knowledge, and then you know what you need to do to avoid these type of traps. So this is why my broadcast is to raise awareness of these traps that the cabal create, so that way the people know how to take care of their health, what to avoid, what to eat, do the things and to ensure that their energies, the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy, are going to be balanced, and they need to do this inner work within themselves as well too. So this is a very important part of their ascension process.
Sure, absolutely. Well, just one of the things that comes to mind when you're talking about the traps for the imbalance of the hormones is the soy products as well. For men, when they have soy, it brings in the female hormones and throws them out of balance. So there's so many areas. How can people learn more about what are the hormonal imbalance issues that are being brought to us in our foods and things like that? Is it obviously watching a broadcast like yours, but what are some other ways people can research that sort of thing?
You know what? When you research this topic, there's going to be so many conflicting points of view. Mm-hmm. So it's up to you to really hone in your discernment, because you watch one doctor and they'll say their point of view. You listen to another doctor, they'll say their point of view, and they're conflicting with each other. Yes. So you have to really hone in your discernment and go deep into the subject matter, so that way you have a good understanding of the topic, and you know how to discern which doctor is on point and which doctor is not on point. Because a lot of these experts, they have their own biases as well, and you don't know who is sponsoring which doctor, or what is their intention and motive. So I was looking through this subject yesterday, and one doctor was promoting soy, and I know soy is really bad for you, but he's giving a lot of good information about water retention and all the lipodemia problems that people are having, but he's there also pitching soy as being an alternative or something good for people to consume. But I know that soy is very harmful for everyone. You shouldn't be consuming soy at all, and if it's going to be consumed, it needs to be fermented, and most of the soy supply is GMO. So this doctor is promoting his message, but you have to really, like I said, go deep into the subject matter, so that way you have a broad range of information, knowledge, but there's also depth. So now when you're watching other points of view, you know exactly which doctor is going to be on point, which one is off point with their information. Yeah. So this is how I do it.
Yeah, that's great advice. So it's interesting with things, because in general you can say that processed foods are ones that you want to really avoid and just try and go for fresh things, because even tofu, you know, that's processed, isn't it? And like you say, you want to go for fermented. So yeah, there's so much to this, you know. It really takes a long amount of research to fully understand the implications of this.
What I suggest people do is when they're eating or doing something, I like to listen to Dr. Burke, because his information is pretty accurate and it's on point. I don't always agree with everything, but a vast majority of the information he shares is on point and it's accurate. And he goes to the heart of the problem, and that's what you really want to understand: is how is this problem caused? What is the solution to it? And the solutions he brings to the table are usually nutrient based, and that's what you want to look at: is the nutrients, the food, that what's missing in your diet, what you need to supplement, not supplement, what you need to consume in order to balance out your nutritional deficiency, which is why I tend to listen to his broadcast. And what I like to do is whenever I'm eating or doing something that is, I don't know, doesn't require too much of my attention and focus, I like to listen to it in the background, so that way it's going in and I'm able to also retain information that way too. Because a lot of people like to watch videos for entertainment, but I watch videos for information gathering and acquiring new knowledge.
Absolutely. There's so much to learn, isn't there? And so much to unlearn that we've been taught. So Dr. Burke, is that B-I-R-K? Is that the spelling?
B-E-R-G, Berg.
Oh, B-E-R-G. Okay, just so I'll put it up across the screen. Great. Yeah. So people can look him up. Well, there's so many points to discuss on everything that you've just covered. The perfect combination of the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies, when they come together in perfect unison and in divine love, you know, it creates one of the highest energies or portals for divine connection. So it really raises the frequency to the highest level. And, you know, there's stories of in Egypt, you know, the king and the queen, they would make love in the king's chamber, and the energy of that would go up to the stars and help to spin the stars and to support the cosmos, you know, because the energy was so powerful. So, you know, the perfect balance of that unison of the divine feminine and the divine masculine is one of the quickest ways to access God, divine, isn't it? And I think that's very much part of it. It reminds me of the book 1984 by George Orwell, you know, Big Brother, because in that, you know, when they were trying to control the society, they would try to limit the males and the females coming together in relationship and making love. You know, there was like a rule that they could only do that so often, and they were trying to divide the ability for the males and the females to come together in unison, because they knew that that would create this high frequency, this independence, and it would limit their control.
Well, it's because they want to sabotage your connection to source. So when two people are in love and they're really into each other and they're making love, that energy is coming in together and is merging, and your souls are merging, your chakra systems are merging. So it creates a very powerful vortex, but it also creates a connection straight to source. So when you orgasm, it's your connection to divinity. And what they're preventing your connection to the divine, because that ecstasy state is the closest thing you're going to feel with the divine. This is how unconditional, how intense that love is. So this is why you feel blissed out. But this is why in that book, they're trying to limit that. Or even in the religious text right now that we have in the Matrix, they always talk badly about sexuality. It's like a taboo, and they teach people to think of sex only for procreation. Meanwhile, sex is meant to be enjoyed, and you're supposed to really enjoy sex and do it in a healthy spiritual way, not in a lustful way. So a lot of distortion has been weaved into the religious text. So this is why the collective consciousness doesn't have really good knowledge when it comes to healthy spiritual sexual relationship.
Absolutely. Oh, you explained that so well. That was exactly what I was saying, but you explained it way better than I did. So,
The other thing I want to point out too is that when you see a person that is evolved and they're balanced in their masculine and feminine energy, you can probably notice that this person that has the whole package and they're very attractive naturally. So a man who is balanced in his masculine and feminine energy, he's going to be very alluring. He's going to be very attractive. There's going to be a lot of women who's going to want him, and it's vice versa for the female as well too. She's also very beautiful, but she's balanced in that energy where she can handle herself. You know, she's not too feminine, but she knows how to handle herself. She knows how to stand up for herself, but she still knows her feminine energy and knows her feminine role. But she's beautiful, also intelligent, but also very strong and a leader at the same time. So it's this balance that's very important for the collective to strive to become, because this is your divine template. This is what you're meant to become.
Yes, yes. I have a wonderful technique I do with clients where they go in on the inner and they meet their inner, say, for example, they're a female, they meet the inner divine masculine, and they talk and communicate with the aspect of themselves and see what they need to do to balance that more within themselves. So, for example, if a woman is being, in some way, she's being feeling that her power is being taken away from her, it's by sort of reclaiming the aspect of the divine masculine so she can come more into balance within herself. So yeah, it's a fascinating area, and I think the more that we're able to balance that within ourselves, the more that we can have higher quality relationships and we can heal the planet.
I don't think people should even go into a relationship with other people when they don't even have a good relationship with themselves.
True, absolutely.
I look at people all the time and they have a terrible relationship with themselves, and I can see these people are they're not in a position to be in a relationship with nobody, because what they're going to be doing is just, first of all, distracting themselves from doing their inner work. That's the first thing. Secondly, they don't know how to treat the other person. They don't know how to treat the other person well, and they also don't know how to receive. So when you're looking for a partner in life, or even somebody you want to date and have a relationship with, one of the first thing you want to look for is, how well does this person treat themselves? You know, how is their relationship? How strong is their relationship itself? And if you see that this person doesn't know how to take care of themselves, doesn't have a good relationship with themselves, they are low vibrational, they put themselves down, stay away from those people. They're toxic. They're going to be toxic. They're going to be a bad partner, and they're going to be needy, clingy. They don't know how to be on their own. They always want to be around you and suck your energy. It's not a good relationship. The whole point of a relationship is for you to come in to union with another person, for you to share yourself with the other person, which means you should be a complete person on your own. You're now sharing your life with each other. Therefore, you should have things to offer to the other person. You know, not just come into a relationship, just take. You have things to offer, things to complement, things to share. So if you have this strong relationship with self, you would look for the same thing in your partners, and you would be more wise in who you select to intermix your DNA and your energy with.
Well, I think it's really important for everyone at the moment to be working on themselves, because, you know, in this process of ascension of Mother Earth and the planet into higher realms, we need to consistently work on our own inner evolution, regardless, don't we? I mean, we've all got things to learn to be part of that process, you know. And then if you are in a relationship that is not good, or you're needing to work on yourself anyway in order to be able to be in a good relationship, that's even more important. So, you know, that process of inner work is absolutely imperative at the moment. Do you feel that, Nyla?
It's an ongoing process, and I think people should be more alone than be in a relationship, because if you're not a complete person and you have a lot of traumas and triggers, you shouldn't be in a relationship, because it's all going to come out and it's going to make the relationship a toxic relationship anyways. It's not, nobody wants to be in a toxic relationship. It's no fun.
No, not at all. Okay, so you made points earlier that I want to go back to about the corruption of sexuality and the corruption of what it truly means. I mean, in truth, true sexuality is absolutely the highest level of beauty. And we have got so much, in our consciousness now in the Western culture, particularly as well, to do with the corruption of what true sexuality is and what it means. So, there's so much work that humanity needs to do in order to upgrade on this level. What sort of advice have you got for that? It seems to be such a big area, when you look at porn and all the different things that are out there now. And
people, let me ask you something. If people don't know how to love themselves, how could they possibly know how to make love?
Yeah, that's true.
If you don't know how to love yourself, which is the basic, which is the foundation of everything,
yes,
you're not gonna know how to make love, first of all. And shagging and making love is two different things. Shagging is, it's lust based and it's more physical. Making love, it's more intimate. It needs more vulnerability, and most people don't know how to be intimate and being vulnerable. So therefore, they're missing a huge chunk of this pleasure process if they don't know how to be emotionally vulnerable. They don't know how to be intimate. So therefore, that part, the emotional body, is not really being connected into this process. What they're doing is they're just engaging on a physical level, and therefore you're only getting like 10% of the pleasure. You're missing the 90%.
Actually, just that physical aspect, when people are connecting in that way, that's actually a way to create distance as opposed to intimacy, which sounds ironic, but it's like you can do a physical act like that, but it can be something that create, what I'm saying? It can create distance because you're not really doing it in a way that's true, or
you're not really, first of all, you're not really giving your soul into it. You're not really into the person.
Yes.
You're not really giving yourself. It's just purely superficial. Anything that's superficial is going to leave you feeling not fulfilled. So that act, when you're doing it without your love and your intention, your purity into it, it's going to leave you feeling more depleted, unfulfilled, not satisfied than the opposite. When you're making love and do it properly and you know how to do it, it should make you feel very fulfilled, nourished on a deep level, on a multidimensional level. Yes. But people haven't reached that level of spiritual evolution yet. Because they don't have a connection with self. When you don't have a connection with self, you don't know how to love yourself. How can you possibly know how to make love?
Part of that is connection to source, that divine connection as well. So if they're missing that, they're missing that other aspect. I mean, to create the ability to be intimate with another person, someone has to have the ability to go within themselves and to connect to themselves on a deep level, and to really honestly and genuinely look at their own issues and work on them. How do you think are the quickest and the best ways to build the ability to have intimacy?
First is through conversation and being authentic with yourself. This is a very important quality I look for and I examine in people. And most people are not authentic. They're not authentic with themselves. They don't know how to express themselves. They're not real with their emotions. And when you are having a conversation with somebody, let's say you're going on a date, right? Let's say, hypothetically, you're going on a date. First date, you're talking to somebody, and you can gauge the level of intimacy. If this person has an issue being emotionally vulnerable and being real and telling you, divulging things, bearing themselves to you, you're going to have a problem with your sex life because the person's going to be holding back. They're not going to be really into the connection. So you want to look, when you're looking for a partner, looking for someone to date, you want to be able to see that they have no issues being emotionally vulnerable, being authentic, being who they are, and they're not wearing a mask all the time. And a lot of men and women, they wear masks all the time.
Yes.
They put on these fake masks to pretend something they're not, be who they're not, and it's not attractive. And the intimacy in that connection is only going to be mainly lust-based. So it's not going to be a high vibrational relationship, and it's not going to last long.
Sure, because when we evolve to the next level, we're going toward the fifth dimension and things. If we want to build the super skill or the higher skill of telepathy, we need to be able to be truly authentic and to be able to be transparent, because that telepathy is based on that, isn't it?
Well, we're already quite telepathic now. I'm pretty sure if I think about you and send you a message, you're gonna pick it up. So we're already telepathic in that sense that we can pick up each other's thoughts right now. But we're gonna talk about telepathy to the point where we can actually talk to each other like this, but just through our minds.
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be some more evolution involved. We're not quite there yet, but yeah, it helps for you to first have connection with yourself and be in touch with that higher aspect of you.
Sure.
It's not going to happen to your ego for sure.
No, it'd be hard to do an interview if you had true telepathy, because nobody'd hear it. I'm just thinking.
Well, the thing is, they all hear thoughts there, right? They're all
yeah.
thoughts and energy, so they don't need to hear.
Yes, yeah. So I want to ask you about, in terms of the divine feminine and the divine masculine balance that we're seeing in terms of all this LGBT, confusion. They're looking at, they're saying that there's 50 plus, sexes now, and all this type of, rubbish that's going on. And then, they ask a preschool child and they say, how many sexes are there? And a preschool child can answer it with ease. And then you ask a politician and they've just got no way to answer the question because they don't want to get in trouble or say the wrong thing, So, what can you tell me about this whole gender agenda, all the pride stuff that they're trying to push? I know my mum was mentioning that her she was talking about my nephew who went to university, and she had no awareness of what this whole agenda, and she was saying that it's really wonderful because as he walks down the halls of residence, they have special signs over the rooms that are non-gender, and they're very sort of open and flexible, and she's saying it's this wonderful thing that and she doesn't realize that it's a whole agenda. It's all based on a globalist it's a depopulation at the core. It's a depopulation agenda, isn't it? But go ahead.
Yeah, it's a depopulation agenda, but it's also an agenda to promote their type of lifestyle. Homosexuality is their lifestyle. This is why when you join the Freemason, what do they do as initiation? Anal sex.
Yes.
It's their lifestyle, because anal sex is the way they can take over someone's body, take over you, because your chakra system is it's one of the ways that the chakra system can be compromised, and one of their demons can penetrate and take over that person's vessel. So this is why anal sex, it's a very common practice in Freemasons as a ritual to initiate their new initiates, is to have demonic possession. This is why they are the way they are. And then homosexuality will lead to then pedophilia, which then will lead to bestiality, and then which will then lead to necrophilia. They are doing the most, awful thing to the sexual energy, because this is the kind of energy that produces the massive amount of loosh to feed the dark forces. So when you engage in these type of acts, it's not a divine love. No matter how you want to spend it, it's not divine love. And this is why any type of society that openly engages in this type of act, eventually they create so much karma for themselves that they attract some type of calamity, like what you know about Sodom and Gomorrah. Yes. Every single society that was openly gay will accumulate a certain amount of karma due to the abuse of the sexual energy that they're using. They will attract the karma, and then it will just collapse and die.
It
So
reminds
this
me
is
of the Roman times, whether they had, the orgies and all that sort of stuff, at that time. And they would have very little respect for human life, and they'd throw people in with lions in, in the ring and all that sort of stuff. It was very dishonoring of humanity. The other point I wanted to make with what you've just said too was, it was fascinating. I was looking at a story where a man said he'd been gay, and he did a 10-day detox of parasites. I think it was by the 9th day he had this huge parasite that he released from his body, and he said then by the 10th day he had reversed his feelings of wanting to be gay, and he was just back to normal. So it was actually a parasite in his body that was creating that.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. When you have demonic possession, these demons that take over your consciousness, right? They're the one that's influencing your hormones, influencing your perception, everything about you. This is why they're doing what they do, is because people don't understand how easy it is to have demonic influence and possession through the content you're consuming on the media and what you consume. And if once your aura field is weakened and compromised, it's a vulnerability for them. So once you have these demonic possessions, this is why these men who, let's say, become gay, eventually they want to now have sex with younger boys. It's because of the demonic possession. These demons get off of feeding off younger children because of the illusion and the violation, what they're doing with these type of sexual acts. And you're violating another person, another being, so it produces a huge amount of illusion for these demonic forces, which is why they're pushing this LGBT agenda to get people to normalize homosexuality, which is their lifestyle. And then eventually it's going to pave way. It's like a gateway, into pedophilia. Evolving. And then once people accept pedophilia, then they'll say, oh yeah, but we love having sex with animals too. Why can't we have sex with animals?
That's right.
They'll leave it to bestiality, because I'm hearing stories now of a professor getting arrested because he was having sex with his dog in a public park. I mean, this is how sick these people are.
I know.
But this is all due to demonic possession. This is all influenced by these people who don't understand about the spiritual world.
That's true. That's true. Well, what do you do to protect your energy as well, from these sorts of energies? Do you have any? I mean, we can call in Archangel Michael, who's an amazing protecting energy. But what sort of things do you do to really have a strong protective aura?
You have to have first of all a spiritual lifestyle. Very important.
Yeah.
You have to live a spiritual lifestyle of doing things that keep you away from harmful activities that's going to first damage your physical vessel. So if you're eating harmful food and chemicals and stuff, it's going to have an effect on your aura. Let's say you're always on your gadgets and everything like that, right? That also has an effect on your aura. So basically, you have to empower yourself and gain the knowledge of what weakens your auric field. And when you understand what weakens your auric field, you abstain from those activities. And when you abstain from those activities, it's going to help you to maintain a powerful aura. And then there's other things like the sacred flames and other spiritual practices you can engage in that will help strengthen your aura. But one of the most important things is gaining awareness of the activities that's weakening your auric field, keeping it out of your lifestyle, and then going on a lifestyle that is going to help you to have first a strong body. If you have a very strong body on a multi-dimensional level, it also produces a strong auric field. But if your body's weakened and you have parasites and you have traumas, you have triggers, things are not healed, there's holes in your auric field. And if there's holes, those are vulnerabilities. And this is why these demonic attachment, they cling on and then they hook on. And you have to really know how to get rid of them, because they're not going to release unless you know how to do it. So this is why it's important for people to make an investment to know spiritual knowledge, so that way they can keep these entities free from their auric field. So that way, because they wreak havoc in your life, they put, they distort your perception of reality. They put blockages. They make you make erroneous decisions So that way you cause more problems for yourself. You put yourself in the wrong timeline, and then you make decisions that you later on regret, and now you lost so much money and time. Is because they influence your perception, your consciousness. So
Yes.
people don't understand that there are huge consequences for not investing in your spiritual knowledge and not having this type of knowledge, because then your consciousness is going to be full of these entities, and they're making you depressed. They're giving you panic attacks, anxieties, and low vibrational, and you don't know why you're so lazy, and you don't have motivation, you have no will, it's all demonic attachment. Every single mental health problem, every single issue people have in their life is a result of a spiritual issue, and it's a result of these parasites, these archons, these demons attaching to their auric field, which they have no awareness of. This is destroying their life.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was really well summarized. Entities just attaching to them, and things like drinking a lot of alcohol, it opens your auric field to have the entities come in, all that sort of stuff. I wonder about young people too, because when you're young, you don't know as much stuff often, and I just wonder how they're able to navigate it at the moment. But I guess they've come in, many of these young people, with a higher consciousness anyway. So hopefully, they will have.
It's not, it's not just the alcohol that causes demonic attachment.
No,
it's the pharmaceutical drugs. It's sorcery.
Absolutely.
Pharmaceutical
So
drugs
many
is based on
things.
sorcery.
Yeah.
It's the junk food you're consuming.
Yes.
Causes entity attachment. It's all the gadgets you're immersed in.
What about? I've got a question. What about there's a lot of frequency weaponry happening now as well, with even just frequencies, and that can open to that as well.
Your phone is already a device that causes entity attachment, because the frequency from your mobile phone are disharmonious. It ruptures your cell. It causes a lot of problems in your cells and DNA damage. So therefore, your auric field is compromised, which is one of the reasons why I recommend people to get the Omnia stickers, because it brings back all the frequency to harmony. So that way, when you're using these electrical devices, all the frequencies, the field, the EMF fields are all harmonized. But when you're on a phone and you're on a laptop and you don't got any protection, forget it. These frequencies are so strong, so powerful, is lowering your DNA, is lowering your frequency, your immune system, and they have entity attachment. If you're on the devices all the time, for sure.
Absolutely. And I listened to you when you first mentioned the Omnia stickers, Nyla, and I got them straight away and put them on my devices and everything. But I'm going to actually order some more, because I want to give one to my son. And
it's one of the stickers that it's well tested. I don't like to see claims. I like to see test results.
Yeah.
And that sticker has a lot of test results, a lot of proof to substantiate their claim, which is why I would only use it, and I would recommend to my audience. But there's stickers on the market that make claims, but okay, where's your proof? What kind of test results you got? That's what I'm interested in. And if you don't have any proof to show to me that to substantiate your claim, then it's not going to be a valid claim.
Yeah, fantastic point. So I'll put a link below for the Omnia stickers too, if people are interested. So with the devices, it's interesting, because with my device a little while ago, I had a Apple iPhone, and the battery just all of a sudden went boom, died, and then I didn't have a phone anymore. I've just now got a very basic phone for business. It's really hard to actually text on now, but I just put it to the side, and unless it calls, I barely go near it, don't use it much, and I focus more when I'm doing work on my laptop and my computer, and I don't interact with my phone. And I thought, well, there's a higher reason why that happened with my phone, because it's the energies were probably impacting me, and so it was it became non-functional, and then I had to learn to work without interacting with it in the same way, which is a really good thing. So I know I'm also dealing with some EMF energies at the moment, and how to minimize them. I actually made a little Faraday cage too, Nyla, around, because where my bed is, I got some aluminium foil and wrapped it around cardboard, and I've put it around where I'm sleeping, because we have power lines sort of outside where I am. So that was interesting. That was a way of dealing with.
So you see how when we were talking that I was able to exactly pinpoint what was causing all your flu-like symptoms. once you described your environment, I knew exactly what you're being subjected to, because those that power box from your house is producing so much EMF, and it's very bad for your system.
Sure.
Yes, very bad.
And grounding and being on it much less as well, on any sort of technology or computers or things, and upping my I got some colloidal silver, and
well, you need a lot of antioxidants, because
yes.
those EMF fields is going to deplete a lot of electrons from your system, and it's also going to cause oxidative stress. So you need to really triple your consumption of antioxidants, because you're constantly being bombarded by these frequencies, and it's wearing down your system. It's also destroying your DNA. So this is why I said to you, you got to get some move, ideally move, so that way you're not always being attacked by those frequencies.
Sure. And a good antioxidant is C60. That's one that you really recommend, isn't it?
Well, yeah, C60 is going to be a good one to just get rid. What C60 does is it's going to get rid of the oxidative stress, but you need to put on the antioxidants, which is consuming the right food that is blue and purple, lots of blue and purple food, vitamin C, so that way you're protecting your system, and you're not allowing these higher frequencies to destroy your DNA and hurting you.
And I think everyone's biochemistry is so different that it's for each person, as you said earlier, to be able to discern what you need to do for your own, physical vehicle, for your temple, and to be able to enhance it and have the best immunity and immune system. And so that inner knowing, again, is so important about, what it is. You can do things like, muscle testing. You can use a pendulum. You can go inward on meditation.
Your blood test will be a good determination to determine your blood type.
Yeah.
So if you read the book, Eat Right for Your Blood Type, it gives you a good overview of each blood type, personality traits, the weaknesses and the strength of each blood type. So once you understand your blood type, you can eat according to your blood type, which is going to help to strengthen your immune system. You're going to eat food that's going to not cause inflammation. That's what you want. You want to avoid food that causes inflammation, and food that's going to help strengthen your immune system. It's going to feed your system, and that's a really good foundation for people to first go, so that way they understand their blood type, they understand their digestive system, and they know what kind of food they should stick to and what food they can avoid. And then the second phase to add on top of that would be studying the ketogenic diet, because certain body types, like type O, like myself, you eat carbs, it's disastrous for your system. You're just going to swell up, and you're going to gain a lot of water weight. And if people who are type O, they don't know this type of knowledge, they'll just be eating anything, and they eat a very high carb diet, they're just going to swell up like a balloon, and then they're like, oh, I'm getting fat. But no, you're just eating the wrong food group that's making you retain a lot of water weight, and all that is actually water weight, not fat.
Right.
So
yep. And I can confirm too what you say about the blood type, because the A blood type is one that they say shouldn't be eating any meat products. And I know when I eat meat products, I can't digest them. Like
you don't have the enzymes. Your body doesn't have the enzymes to break it. You're more suited for a vegetarian lifestyle. And you are the most affected by stress. So you can't handle stress very well. So therefore you have to spend more time being more relaxed and learning how to master stress better. So doing things that's going to help you to ground, just learning a relaxing lifestyle. Don't be too high pace and high intensity, versus type O, which has the strongest immune system and has the most stomach acid. They are able to handle a lot of stress, and their body requires a lot of protein. So they get most of the protein source, most of their energy from protein. This is why it's disastrous for people who don't know their blood type and they eat the wrong food group. They end up, causing more inflammation for themselves. This is why knowledge is very powerful, especially knowledge when it comes to nutrition.
Yeah, totally. and hence why I live on an island. It's very relaxing. So I got that bit right. But yeah, no, I think that people just need to really understand themselves better on so many levels, don't they? And I
Know thyself.
know thyself, exactly. I know when you eat something and it doesn't feel right, you can feel it. If you're tuned in energy wise and you're sensitive, you can feel what foods align with your energy and what doesn't. Simple things like holding a piece of, like, for example, a banana or a piece of food in your left hand, and just see if your body goes forward. If it goes forward, it likes it. If it goes back, it doesn't like it. And if it remains still, it's neutral. So you can ask your body and communicate with your body and have that sort of channel, so that you know what your body likes and what it doesn't like.
Yeah, that's true. Muscle testing is important.
Yeah. Oh, well, you've made some brilliant points. What do you think in terms of how humanity are going at the minute? I know that your focus is on 3D to 5D and this process of ascension. How does it feel for you at the moment in terms of this evolutionary process for humanity? Are we going well? Do you think their collective consciousness is waking up in a way that really supports this process?
Yeah, so in my last conversation with Lady Portia, who I just spoke to just yesterday, she's saying humanity's vibration is coming up to 200 hertz, and 200 hertz is the threshold for ascension.
That's
so
on the scale of consciousness. That's 200, isn't it?
Yeah. So in order for you to qualify for ascension and move up into the 5D frequency, you need to be a minimum of 200 hertz. And she's saying a lot of the population on Earth is coming close to that vibration now, due to the amount of awakening, a lot of truth coming to the collective consciousness. So this is what's propelling the planet to move higher in frequency. So this is why when the White Hats is trying to doing their counter move, which is dropping the truth bomb, it propels the planet higher in frequency, because truth is one of the highest frequency. Hence, the cabal likes to counter with propaganda, and doing a lot of their attacks is to drop the planet's vibration. So there's always this battle between light and dark. One is trying to propel the planet's frequency with light, and the other one is destroying it with a lot of attacks, whatever the attacks they want to throw. Natural disaster, chemical attacks, biological, whatever it is, they want to control the narrative, pump the collective with lies, because lies and propaganda will drop the frequency quite significantly. And it also weakens people's DNA, energetic field, and their auric field, leading more for possession.
Well, that's great news that the more and more people are hitting that midpoint. When you look at it on the Hawkins scale of consciousness, it's that center point, which is 200 courage. And from that point, they're all positive qualities going upward. Below 200 are sort of like the more what you could perceive as negative qualities going downward. And that's really positive news. Do you foresee, just before we finish, Nyla, do you foresee an event that will shift the collective in a more significant way, or do you think it's more of an incremental process where we're gradually raising more and more in our frequency and our consciousness?
I think it'll be a combination of both, with all these truth bomb happening in the mass media, with Congress, the Senate, but then also the military preparing what globally around the world. So right now they're preparing for mass arrests. This is why you're seeing military being mobilized in the US, in Canada, is because they're blocking the exits for the cabal. They're also blocking the attacks of any cabal plans or intention in a lot of these cities, because they're going to be launching attacks. So the militaries are stepping in to block and counter all of that, but it's also to position themselves for a checkmate. So this, if you consider this like a chessboard, this is what Trump is already doing. He's positioning all his men, his troops, to come in to block off the exits, so there's no escape.
Yeah.
And then you kill off all the major pieces, the rook, the bishop, and then this is before you go in for the checkmate. So this was my speculation, and it was confirmed by Lady Portia. This was their grand plan.
Oh, very
I was like,
exciting. There have
yeah.
been some huge military helicopters and things, a couple of really big ones, Chinook or whatever they're called, in Australia that have just been seen in the last, 24 hours or so. And then when I went to Mullumbimby the other day, there was a military vehicle in one of the off ramps on the highway as well. So, we are seeing this as well with our own eyes around us and confirming everything that you're saying. Did Lady Portia have any other interesting information about, any sort of positive developments or how we're going when you connected?
Yeah, she's saying that the new system might be coming in place sooner. Because I originally thought the new system is going to come after Trump's being reelected, but she's saying it may come sooner before him. So
right, is that like Nasara Jasara coming in and the quantum financial system?
I think they want to make the quantum financial system public soon. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what she's referring to. So the broadcast is going to be my conversation with Lady Portia is going to be airing this Sunday. So there's a lot of intel being shared on that broadcast. You're going to get a lot of information.
Brilliant. Well, I'll leave your links below, of course, to your work for people to connect with that. That's really exciting. To me, it feels like we're on the edge of a cliff, about to jump off. There's a whole sort of new shift just imminent in the wings waiting. That's how it feels to me.
Well, this is the exciting part of the movie that everybody was like wishing and praying for, because the movie's been so slow and they want to see the mass arrest and they want to see justice. Yes. And all the stuff we've been waiting for, and the EBS and the internet being knocked down. It's coming. It's coming.
Fantastic. Yay, bring it on. So I'd like to say a big thank you to all our our galactic family that are helping us, to all the military that are working for the White Hats, to the White Hats, obviously, Trump and all the team that work around that, Q, all that sort of thing. Oh, I don't know if I can say that. If I put that on YouTube, I might have to edit that bit out. But yeah, big thank you to all of them. We're very grateful, and like to send up our thanks to all those souls that are working so hard for the liberation and for this new stage of humanity's going forward in the new earth. It's exciting. What are you most excited about going to this new golden age?
I'm excited to see the fall of the cabal.
Yes, absolutely.
It's funny. I think 5 years ago, I put this intention out that I was going to help be a part of this. And then now I think it's been only 5 years and it's happening. So that's pretty amazing.
That's fantastic.
I think it's less than 5 years, because I put this intention out, yeah, 4 years ago, maybe. I'm not sure the time. Time's a blur right now, but it hasn't been that long. No. And it's not happening. So yeah, this is great.
It's a blink of an eye, isn't it? In reality, people think it's a long time and they're waiting. But in the whole scheme of things, it's like instantaneous how quickly it's happening.
Yeah. If you keep yourself busy doing things you're passionate about, then time's going to speed up even faster for you. Then you don't even care about the world event until it's the major events that's going to be epic. Then you can tune into it. Other than that, I kind of tune out. I kind of tune out until it's the good part, which is what's happening right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well, thank you so much, Nyla. It's been so wonderful to chat with you and to sort of pick your brains and get your wisdom on this whole area. I do think the divine feminine, divine masculine focus is really important at the moment, and to people to understand what's going on behind all these agendas that we're being shoved in our faces at the minute. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Just love your work, and I love you, and thank you so much, Nyla.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor. I appreciate the invitation. So hopefully we can reconnect another time.
Oh, that'll be beautiful. Lots of love. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.
What are major detox protocols that you do, Nyla? I should have put this
That
on.
one helps. The soul bath really helps with clearing, purifying your auric field and your energy. But you gotta eat things like coriander or cilantro, depending where you are from, what's called. But that's a really good heavy metal detoxifier. The C60. I don't like chlorella and the other stuff too much because chlorella tends to be from the ocean. The ocean's very heavily polluted, and they are made from China's ocean. It's not a very clean source. So yeah, beetroot is a blood detoxifier as well too.
Yes, yes. Parsley is good for your blood. Yeah.
Parsley is really good, but it's also very high in oxalate. That's the problem. What's the other thing that's really good? Celery.
Celery. Okay, cool. Great. Well, we had a vegetable soup last night, and you'll be happy we had coriander and celery. So that's really good. I don't like anything artificial in that way. So I think that would have really helped.
Yeah, if you abstain from all those toxins, you're not going to really age. And if you do a lot of the spiritual work and work on your ascension, you're going to be more connected to your higher self. And when you connect with your higher self, you don't age. It's only when you connect to your lower self, you age. Aging is a process of living in the 3D states of consciousness. But when you move in higher vibration and you live 4D, 5D, because right now I'm 4D. And when you're connecting to that state of consciousness, you're connecting more to your higher self, and you're not going to age. You're going to be radiant, you're going to glow, you're going to look youthful no matter what age, just because you know how to carry yourself. There's a lot of self-love. Your system's clean. You're not full of traumas or triggers anymore. So you're more balanced and healed. So of course, your vessel and your soul is going to shine through more, which is why you're looking younger, you know?
Yes.
When you live a spiritual lifestyle, it regresses aging. It does it automatically. So this is why when people go on the spiritual path, hence they look better, they feel younger, they have more energy, is because they're putting more love into themselves. And that's going to show. That's going to show.
Yeah, totally.